ask about the same thing. After 4 weeks, just maybe one thing that you've liked from your defense, and one thing that you're going to kind of evaluate, maybe hope to improve moving forward.
Well, I think that I really like how hard we play. I think we play with really good effort, and we've been in tough games and we've competed. So you like how hard they play, you like how hard they compete. So that's a real positive thing, to build on. Come back, we get into like a 12-game stretch. So it'll be a long haul when we get back. So finishing the first quarter, we wish we could have done a little better, obviously. So really like that. If there's one thing that I had to say, we need to improve on, it would be, the details, fundamentals. There's an old saying, when I was in school, Coach Paterno used to say, if you take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves, And, when you're a player, young player, sometimes that goes in one ear and out the other. But that's a very, very true statement, especially in this game with the margin of error being like almost zero. It's about like that, So if there's one thing I think we've got to really focus on and, pay attention to, I think it's that. It's not, it's just individual technique, fundamentals, and it always seems to come back to that to me. So I think that's it.
Paul, you've had some unique rush trends to start the season. I think you're blitzing maybe fewer than any team, somewhere toward the bottom, but you're also rushing just 3 men more than anyone. Is this you guys getting ahead of a defensive curve? Because it seems like it's successful in terms of limiting what quarterbacks are doing against you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's, each week, your game plan each week, it's based on, what you're seeing is probably going to be a little different. I think, in all honesty, I think it's probably worked out that way, but we're certainly capable. We're certainly capable of rushing 4, 5, 6. We're certainly capable of max blitzing, that type of thing. And we're prepared, based on the game plan. I think we can do any of those things. I think we can do them pretty well. I just think it's the way it's worked out so far.
Why has it worked out this way? Like, is there something, and why, especially maybe like late in the game, did you prefer to rush 3 instead of?
Well, I think there are so many, good players on the field that we just felt that in that moment that was our best shot. That's probably the only reason. I just felt at that moment, let's make one more play. Let's make one play, win the game in the fourth quarter, at the end of the fourth quarter. So that would be the only reason I would, it comes to my mind. I didn't, and to tell you the truth, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. Sometimes you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I've probably been in that boat a few times, So you're just trying to do, what you think you need to do to win. That's all.
This is a pass-first league, though. I mean, it has kind of developed into that, and you guys are kind of limiting quarterback efficiency, opposing quarterback efficiency, I think. So would you say what you're doing right now has been, I guess, successful in your eyes?
I think it's got us to, in each game, it's got us to probably the last possession of the fourth quarter. And against the quality of teams we're playing, I think that, sure, you'd like to be ahead. You'd like to have a couple touchdown lead and, a couple little things here and there, and we may have been able to enjoy that luxury, but so it's gotten us into that deal where you have a chance to win the game, and I think that's, kind of what you're trying to do.
this might be a version of the same question, but the quarterback rating you guys are allowing is the second best in the league. I'm curious why you think that is. I know it's a reciprocal thing between the defensive line, puts the pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, the secondary playing well.
So explain that to me. Second best in the league. What does that
The
mean?
quarterback rating that you guys are allowing quarterbacks, and you face some good quarterbacks, Rivers and Mahomes
Yeah.
and so forth, but the quarterback rating that you're allowing is second best. And I'm curious just why you think you've had some success limiting the efficiency that the quarterbacks are facing.
Meaning the quarterbacks are struggling, or the quarterbacks
right,
are
exactly.
having a field day?
No,
Second worst, second lowest.
No, I got it. I'm only teasing. I got it. I got it. Well, I guess what we've done is, I guess when you put it that way, I guess what we've done has been fairly successful. It doesn't mean that we're going to continue to go that way. It just means that it's the way we've gone so far, and there's so many good quarterbacks, and we're seeing another good one here as we come up, right? Hall of Fame kind of guy. So that's no box of chocolates, so right. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do there. I don't know.
What's Justin Coleman brought to the defense, and what does it mean to be good inside of that nickel spot? How important is that to the defense?
Oh, it's important. It's really important. He's lining up on really good inside receivers all the time. And he really competes. You guys see it. Plays hard. And we started the conversation by, what do you like about what you're seeing? And playing hard and competing, that guy competes. He competes hard. So that's meant a lot, I think, and I think reflective of how hard the guys are working, across the board.
I wanted to ask you about your safety depth. You've got 4 guys now that you're playing pretty extensively, just whether it's game plan or injury situation.
Right.
But when you have, I guess, those hybrid positions that can play the rush and cover and maybe even rush the passer situationally, like how much flexibility does that give you when you're constructing a game plan?
Yeah, it does. It gives you flexibility. In this day and age, safety's got to be able to cover. Nifty tight ends and wide receivers. So, and I gave you the Tabucky Jones story. I told you about Al Davis and Tabucky Jones, and what that kind of safety means to your defense. So, it's nice to have 4 safeties. All I know is the other night Diggs got hurt. We were down to 3 awful quick, and I was saying to yourself, one more guy gets hurt here, we might have a problem. So it seems like it's a lot, but that can kind of evaporate in a heartbeat. So those guys are good. They're good to have. Tracy and Will Harris is getting better. We threw CJ in there the other night. So they're good. They're good young guys. They're good developmental guys. And, they just need to play. And they just need to gain experience.
It seems like Will is gaining you guys' trust, maybe not playing as much at the start now, a
Right.
lot more. I'm just curious.
Right.
I'm just curious what sort of development you've seen from Will.
Yeah. He's a very good athlete. He's an explosive guy. He's prepares very well. He really prepares hard. It's really important to him. He cares a lot. So, and we need the depth at the position. And fortunately, he's a bigger physical guy. Who can come down and support the run, like you're saying. And he's got pretty good, deep field skills. You can put him in the deep part of the field, and he's going to do pretty well back there too. So, he's just got to keep playing. We just got to get him in the game and just keep developing.
It goes back a couple of weeks really quickly on Harris, but the Philadelphia game, you had him out there on that last 4th and 15.
Right.
I mean, at that point, I think it's like his 50th snap of the season.
Yeah.
Probably went through some inconsistencies all through camp and preseason. Like, what spurs you to put him in a big moment and to trust a young player like that?
Well, it was at that particular moment, and what we decided to do, he was on the field, so we weren't going to change it because it was the last play. I mean, we had gone through that prior to that play, so we trust him. We trust him. And I think you can trust he's going to do everything he can do to be where he needs to be when he needs to be there. And you know, Rashawn had to make that play, you know, but Will was the first one over there to congratulate him, you know. So, so we're just, you know, I think when you get players that work hard, they're consistent each day, day in and day out. They're the same guy day in and day out. I think probably like in your business, you know, you start to trust the guy. You know, so he's got a ways to go, you know, got a ways to go, but he's going in the right direction.
What does Deshaun Hand add to your defense up front when he eventually comes
Yeah,
back? And how much have you guys missed him?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's another big, good athlete, you know, who's can, you know, play up front. So depth, you know, he's got a nice skill set. Being a bigger guy, you know, can play on the edge, can rush the passer. You know, he was at Alabama. He was really a defensive end who then went down and played inside. You know, so he's playing inside for us, but he's got that experience. You know, versatility. He's a big, versatile athlete, is what he is. So those guys are always great to have.
There was so much anticipation for that defensive front in general after bringing in Snacks last year and Trey this year.
Yeah.
You know, at the quarter point of the season, what are your thoughts?
Just get them all healthy, you know. Get Mike Daniels back, you know. Get Deshaun in there. Just get them all, you know, get them all together. Hopefully, as we start this next quarter of the season, they'll all be available and we can start to, you know, develop those guys together.
With Trey, he doesn't have the sack numbers maybe, but it does seem like he's been disrupted, especially the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's a hard charging, you know, really a hard charging, hard playing. Going back to what you said first statement, the effort, you know, his effort level is up there now, you know. So
changes things for you guys.
yeah, well, I think that he makes a lot of, you know, he kind of silently kind of goes about his business, you know, and has had some really good production, you know, has really contributed, you know, not always maybe the fanciest, you know, deal, but really a good player, smart player.
Just to clarify something, so you expect Mike Daniels back next week?
No, I said we got to get these guys back.
Okay, you made it sound like that you thought they'd be available.
No, I have to tell you the truth. I have no idea. I'm of everybody here, probably the last guy that'll know. But what I'm saying is, I don't even know when we're getting Deshaun back. But as soon as we can get those guys all, you know, back, it's really, you know, really gonna help us. But when they're coming back, in all honesty, I don't know.
Paul, I'm curious. I know you guys don't pay attention to what's written about you or said about you outside of this building, but one of the analytics services has really kind of hammered the play of Jared Davis this year. I'm just curious the internal impression of what Davis has.
He brings a lot. You know,
brought to the table.
I'd be careful. You know, there, guy brings a lot. You know, he's the quarterback of the defense. Does an awful lot for us. It really, really does. So, love him. Me personally, love him. No issues. Love him.
On field wise, though, is he knocking off some rust a little bit just from the monkey set up?
I don't know that. You know, I think he's doing fine. I think he's really into the game. You know, played some good teams. We played some really mobile quarterbacks. You know, all that stuff. So we're asking him to do a lot. He's doing everything he can do. So I think we're happy with him.
Can I squeeze one in about Tracy Walker? Just he's off to a pretty good start here. You know, statistically, I think he's doing a lot. You guys have asked him to do a lot in various games. What do you think the ceiling is for that guy? Or we just sort of seeing him scratch his?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a guy that's looking at, you know, that type of thing. To me, we're 4 games into the season. We got an awful long way to go. Tracy's only in his 2nd year. We played 16 regular season games last year, so he's got 20 under his belt. So
seems like he's doing things not a lot of guys with 20 games can do, though. So.
Yeah, he's doing well. You know, he's doing well, but for me, he's a young developmental player who's, you know, still developing. So, you know, we'll just see. Hopefully he can keep playing consistent football.